Hva I helvete? Satan. Kurva! Han kommer! Det är masse bilar som overslag här sen.
Galway. Ja, så här har vi det fenomenet som jag sa. Veien blir...
There is widespread damage and 60,000 homes remain without power after Storm Amy swept across Scotland overnight. Despite Met Office warnings, Network Rail said the high winds hit much harder and more quickly than it expected, with fallen trees, flooding, and debris blocking lines. Scottish and Southern Electricity Networks said it had reconnected 33,000 properties, but work continued to be impacted by weather conditions. An amber weather warning remains in place until 2100 hours in the north of Scotland, with a wider yellow warning extending to northern England and parts of Wales until midnight. Network Rail Scotland said there were more than 170 incidents, including 60 in the first 2 hours of the storm. Several lines in the north of Scotland had been closed ahead of Storm Amy's arrival, after Met Office alerts were issued earlier in the week. However, the railway operator said it was forced to close all lines out of Glasgow and routes in southern Scotland without warning on Friday evening, when the storm hit harder than it expected. Ross Moran, route director at Network Rail Scotland, said, "Our teams are working tirelessly to assess the damage, inspect the railway. Safety remains our top priority. We must ensure our teams can work safely on the ground and confirm that lines are secure before passenger services can run." Gusts of 96 miles per hour were recorded on the island of Tiree at the peak of the storm. All ScoTrail services out of Glasgow Central and Glasgow Queen Street Low Level were suspended until lunchtime on Saturday.
Wow. Ah, shite, look at this. Look what the wind storm did last night. I'm blocked in because of the wind storm Amy.
It said there were about 80 trees brought down on lines and engineers were checking routes before resuming services. SSEN said power had been restored to 33,000 homes, but warned further weather disruption was expected later. Fraser Wilson of SSEN told BBC Radio's Good Morning Scotland programme, "We expect, because of the extent of damage to the network and conditions we are still going to be facing today, that this will take some time. This storm is not over by any means." Winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour are forecast, with occasional gusts of up to 85 miles per hour also possible, so some damage is still likely throughout Saturday. ScotRail services cancelled until Sunday on the West Highland Line, Oban Cranelerich Fort William Mallig, and the Inverness Wick Kyle Line. Trains from Glasgow Central and Queen Street were suspended until around 12 o'clock on Saturday, but have since resumed. Traffic at the Rest and Be Thankful in Argyll has been diverted on to the Old Military Road. Traffic Scotland said it was monitoring conditions. The A83 is also closed at Strone Point due to a fallen tree. Delays and cancellations expected on Calmac's West Coast ferry network. It has asked passengers to check its website for updates. Ferry crossings between Cairnryan and Northern Ireland have been cancelled. The Forth Road Bridge was closed to all vehicles. The Skye Bridge, Tay Bridge, Queensferry Crossing and Clackmannanshire Bridge have restrictions for high-sided vehicles. On Friday, in Glasgow city centre, part of the Broomielaw was closed when a derelict building collapsed at about 1800 hours. In Inverness, a large shop front sign was blown off at Inch's Retail Park. In Angus, Montrose FC called for fit and able supporters to help clear up debris after the boundary wall at Lynx Park Stadium blew over. In Aberdeenshire, about a dozen passengers were stranded on a train that hit a tree on the line from Inverary to Aberdeen on Friday evening. No one was injured. Several flights and ferry services were cancelled, while some road bridges are either closed or have restrictions on high-sided vehicles. A number of ferry crossings between Cairnryan, in Dumfries and Galloway, and Northern Ireland were cancelled.
That says recording now.
Competition at golf's Alfred Dunhill Links Championship in St Andrews was suspended on Saturday due to the blustery conditions. The Junior and Mini Great Scottish Run in Glasgow have been cancelled due to the weather warning. Organizers said the strong winds and rain would create a risk of debris for the event on Glasgow Green. The Met Office said that Storm Amy set a new record for the deepest area of low pressure in the UK for October. The Earth's atmosphere exerts pressure on the surface and is measured in hectopascals, also called millibars. Storm Amy showed central pressure of 947.9 hectopascals at Baltasound, Shetland. This exceeds the previous record of 950.9 hectopascals in 1988. In an area of low pressure, the weather is often unsettled.